to sip that coffee, get your mind right, and vibe with the queen herself. We're dishing out hot topics, wellness tips of the day, and things that make you go, Let's get this palace party started.
All right. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Let's do a mic check. Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3. Happy Wednesday. We are here. I see you. Real Talk with Grace and Mercy. Good morning to you. She says, good morning, Queen Sheba and everybody. Good morning to you. Good morning, Sandra P., American Born. Welcome back, Dorothy Redden. I see you. DG, thank you, everybody, for pulling up. Good morning. Listen, I want to thank you all for your patience. We were supposed to go live at 7:35 a.m., and I changed the time, or so I thought, but for some reason, StreamYard did not register the new time. So I appreciate everybody just kind of lingering and hanging out. But yeah, we're back. I'm having a nice cup of coffee. I hope you are too. It's Wednesday morning corporate segment podcast where we talk all things corporate America. So if this is your first time and you're like, whoa, what did I walk into? Well, we hope we leave you better than how we found you. Give me 1 second. I think my dog needs to go outside. So give me a 30-second break. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Well, I thought he had to go. Frenchies, man, that's all I'm gonna say. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. False alarm, false alarm. But anywho, welcome to Corporate Morning Segment, Wednesday morning segment. We're gonna talk, y'all. We're gonna talk today, corporate America. One of my favorite segments. And I get a lot of feedback. I receive a lot of emails, DMs about how people truly enjoy this segment. And I know it's not the gossipy entertainment segment that I normally do, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Today we're going to talk about reasons why you haven't been promoted at work. Now, this may not apply to all of you. Take what you need and leave the rest. That's the rule. Take what you need and discard the rest. But what could be some primary reasons that you may not have been promoted at work? And if you're tuned in from Twitter, thank you for pulling up. For those of you that may be tuned in on your way to work, in your cubicles, in your office, thank you. Those of you that are working from home, those of you that may have a job where you can plug in your AirPod and just keep walking and cleaning and whatever you're doing. We love everybody over here. So shout out to those teams at work that may be listening to us in a group. Thank you for pulling up and supporting the channel. Now let's talk about reasons that you may not have been promoted at work. Good morning to you, Toot Latrice. I see you. Zen AF Uncut. Good morning to you, Queen. The Valley Girl, Sharon Goldbolt. I'm just, randomly calling out names. Terry T. Baby. Good morning, Stacy. Good morning. All right. Before we get into some of the reasons that you may not have been promoted at work, and trust me, it is not what you think. It's not what you think. Let me get into the segment where we kind of drop one word. Don't go yet, because some people are new here. I want you to drop one word. Listen to me very carefully. How are you feeling right now? Or how are you trying to feel toward the end of this segment? Because we believe in leaving you better than how we found you. So that's the goal. How are you feeling right now? Ready, set, go. And I'll call out a few randomly for about 15, 20 seconds. And then we're going to get to the good part. All right? We're going to get to the good part. What we got going on in this chat? How are y'all feeling out there on Twitter? And how are you feeling out there on YouTube? I'm feeling, well, let me take a sip of my coffee. I'm feeling capable. That's my word. Shakira Moore is feeling grateful. The Queen is feeling capable. Terry T, baby for life, is feeling motivated. Sandra P is feeling content. DG, we have focused. We have Ruby Jewel coming in with blessed. The Real Talk with Grace and Mercy is feeling blessed. We have amazing. The Valley Girl. Oh, we have energetic. That's a good one. You make me go out and work out today, feeling energetic. Zen AF, Uncut is feeling informed. We have motivated. I can do a few more. We have rejuvenated from Healed 75. Rosemary Dean. Welcome, Rosemary. Rosemary is coming in feeling calm. I like a calm energy, honey. Energetic. We got two energetics. I've never seen two energetics in a live segment before. So we have Inez Martin and we have Stacy feeling energetic. American Borns. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Oh man. She says, American Born says, Queen Sheba, I don't see the video on Twitter. Oh my gosh, of all the days. I'm sorry, Twitter, if we left y'all out on this one, but I think Toot Latrice is sharing the link, if I'm correct. Wintery is feeling motivated. We have Grateful and Loved. Drop it in. I may catch some of them. Connect Fielder is feeling blessed. We have a calm from One Crafty Sister. Hey, One Crafty Sister, how are you? How's that land and the animals? I could listen. Let me teach you something. Do you know how I remember y'all? I have a really good memory, and I try to remember something about you if we are blessed enough to meet in person or have a conversation. The way I remember people is something about your life that you've shared or you've told me, and I'll remember it forever. So, yeah. Bronze Sugar 2, Hopeful. We have Excited from Dolores Campbell. Chef Chic Jean Marie is feeling determined. Give me one word, y'all. I got to fly through real quick. Virginia's feeling equipped. Okay, we got an Ancients in the building. That's okay. That's okay. This too shall pass. And it happens sometimes, Lavon, especially when we're talking corporate America. You know, they have all of these behavioral health programs and these resources available. And sometimes I think to myself, I'm like, but you're the cause of the stress. You are the cause of the anxiety. The boss, the manager, the leadership, the leadership culture is the cause of everything that your employees are feeling. And until you change the culture, you don't change the diagnosis. Okay. TJ's baby's feeling grateful. Oh, Beverly's feeling divine. That's a very good word, Beverly. Gomes. Beverly Gomes. We have equipped. Toot Latrice, what are you feeling today? What are you feeling today, Toot Latrice? Toot, how can you see Somali Queen, but I can't? I hope y'all ain't blocked Somali Queen. Let me see if I can find her. There she is. I can see her. So you must have known she was up here. You must have known she was here. Toot Latrice, my moderator, y'all, is feeling rested. It's feeling rested. Can I, you're feeling overwhelmed? Okay. Well, let's talk about it. We're about to do something real special. And I've been trying to do it for I'm going to say about 2 days, y'all. And it feels right to do it now. A few weeks ago, and we're going to get on with the show. A couple of months ago, I was in my members only, and I shared, and nobody knows this, right? What I'm about to say. I shared with my members that, you know, if we're fortunate enough and if we have the support, that once we hit 100K over here, and I don't know how long that's going to take. I have no idea, but I'm just going to continue to work. That we're going to add another moderator. I thought that would be the right thing to do. Now, you have to be very careful. I'm starting to see on these YouTube streets. And, you know, I have really good moderators. Some of my moderators mod for other people. They do a really good job. And some of them are co-hosts of other shows and working on their own projects. And, you know, hey, I love it. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. So as I'm going through the list, I'm thinking, who's really showing up for the palace? Right? Without me asking. And there's been quite a few people. But then you have to do You have to make sure you don't step on anybody's toes, even though moderators are non-paid positions. Sometimes people can feel some kind of way, right? You learn that. Well, with that being said, when we hit 60,000, I thought, why not add another moderator? And Toot, I did not tell you. Linda, I did not tell you. Daryl, I did not tell you. I did not tell you. Right? Because I just wasn't sure. Well, with that being said, give me 1 second, everybody. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I need to do something. And I'm doing it now as quick as I can. I'm going on mute for 1 second. Give me a second. Hold on. For some reason, it is showing my segment as, for some reason, it's showing that this segment aired yesterday. And I'm needing, yeah, John, hold on. Give me 1 second. Y'all already know. Hold on. I'm trying to do something. But there we go. Give me 1 second. Here we go. All right. So, like I said, I kind of feel like sometimes I'm in this position that even if I wanted what I wanted, you just got to be careful around here on YouTube. And man, it was a hard decision for now, for the 60, and we're still going to add another at 100K. But with that being said, I would like to take this opportunity. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome aboard as a moderator to the palace, Somali Queen. Somali Queen, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you aboard as a moderator. I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you, but it's yours there. If you would like to accept that wrench, you do not have to say it out loud. But welcome aboard. We appreciate you. We appreciate the other women and men that work very, very hard. But Somali Queen, thank you for everything you do for us, and not just us, that you do for other content creators, right? Because this is not just a palace thing. I'm very well aware that you've extended your efforts, your resources, your time, and all of that, your research to other content creators. And because of your reach far beyond the palace and everything you do all the way from Africa, for us American women, Black women, I want to say thank you. And it's well deserved. So, Somali Queen is now an official moderator here in the palace. Y'all make sure y'all show her some love. All right, all right, all right. Now, even Steven, you're coming up kind of early. Let me see what you got going on. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm out here driving, so pardon me if I can't keep a face on here. But you're broaching a very good topic this morning, and I've been at a certain employer for about 17 years, and I basically come to terms with why I'm not getting promoted,
Okay.
and also as I saw kind of how company policy was going to be shortly after I arrived there 17 years ago, and what I did was when I bought my house in 2012, I said I'm gonna get a $500 or less mortgage, and that's one factor that would aid in the job security situation, being a black man,
Mm-hmm.
and the second thing is, well, I drive a 21-year-old Chevy pickup truck to work,
Okay.
and that kind of adds to it. And then on top of that, I saw what they were doing with my annual evals, like
Okay. Let me
holding
ask
me to
you
a
this.
higher.
Let me ask
Yes,
you this. What did you come to the
yes.
what when you say I came, I think I figured out why I have not received a promotion. Why have you not received a promotion in your opinion?
Well, first, because I'm very effective in what I do, but I know because I'm a black person that doesn't play the game, and
Okay.
I also understand because my employer actually has a lot of black executives, but
Okay.
I know that above a certain pay grade, like department manager or above, they got to bend over and they got to sell their soul. So
Okay. Okay.
so
Hold on. Pause with me because I gotta make sure we get to the point. So when you
yes.
say you are a black person in your career field
Mm.
that doesn't play the game, what does that look like when you're not playing the game? How does that behavior look at work? How does that come across to other people when you don't play the game?
Well, um, what happens is when they know I don't play the game, then it's actually the black people that make sure that I don't make any more money.
Okay, does that mean so
Uh,
when you decide that you're not gonna play the game, does that mean you don't stay late, you don't pick up overtime, you don't answer emails? What does that
correct.
look like? Tell me, give us some examples of
Okay.
what you've done to
o-
not play the game.
Okay. So so I still do whatever I need to do, but that hasn't I haven't been asked to do any of all this extra, and the
Okay.
situation hasn't arisen. But as far as play the game is
Mhm.
join these certain organizations and support these things that are inherently anti-black, like the LGBT charter schools
Oh,
that's aimed at black children in our city. So all the black executives are supporting that, and in other words, you have to go along to get along with that agenda.
and sometimes you do. Let me ask you something real quick. What field are you in, Stephen? Even Stephen?
Um, I work in a local public sector government agency.
Okay, you're a driver, you said?
No,
Okay,
no,
gotcha. How long have you been there?
17 years.
17 years. Have you ever been promoted?
Uh, just once
How long
where
ago?
I, I I got promoted from being a driver into working in the office,
Okay.
and
How long ago?
15 years ago.
15 years ago. Do you want to be promoted?
Actually, knowing what they're looking for, absolutely not.
Okay,
So
pause. Pause, pause, pause.
yes,
Hang out there. Hang out there. So you don't want to be promoted. Let me ask you this. I got
yes,
one more question. Why are you still there?
yes.
A place where you have no desire to go up.
Okay. Well, I'll put it like this. If you remember the Shannon Sharp Cat Williams interview, you just close your eyes. They were talking about sports and entertainment. You close your eyes and just replace that sports and entertainment with corporate and government.
I know,
So
but
in other
okay.
words, in
Hmm.
other words, um, I don't look at it as a lifestyle. I'm just providing a service in exchange for paying fringes.
Okay.
So, so in other words,
Mhm.
it meets a need, but and so I used to be frustrated, But
But answer
in
my question
27,
now, real quick.
yes,
Like, well, because
yes,
I need, because people are listening very carefully. Because
yes,
there's some people that
yes,
feel the way you feel. Fill in the blank.
yes,
I know you're still there. The last time you got a
yes,
promotion was 15 years ago. Why do you stay
yes.
in a place where you have no desire to move forward?
Oh, well, like I say, the so the pay, the pay I'm getting is good,
Okay.
and and the benefits are great. I have an old school pension.
Okay. Gotcha. So you're staying for the money.
So yeah, so that meets the need. But when Trump was elected,
Oh, we can't do
and when he
politics
took office,
today. We can't do politics today, but you got to
no,
come
no,
back to
no,
me
no.
too.
Oh, no. I'm not saying it for political purposes. I'm just saying, like, when he was elected, I was like, that particular group thinks corporations are people too. So I got an S corporation and channeled my negative energy
Hmm.
into that.
Let me ask you
And so
something. When you say
yes,
negative energy, you mean towards the job?
yes,
Towards the job?
yes,
Okay, got it,
yes.
got it, got it. Do you have a group of friends at work?
Yes, I do.
Okay, okay. Do y'all go out to lunch and all of that every now and then?
Yes. So
Yeah.
I'm in a very tight knit group of
Okay.
black employees,
Gotcha, gotcha. No,
and
yeah. Let's
yes,
let's let's do this, Stephen. Let me play the clip, and I'm not sure when you're gonna get to work, and I'm gonna work off of what you just said. I gotta go ahead and get to the segment and play the clip. If you want to pop back
okay,
up, pop back up. And y'all, if you have any feedback for Stephen, or if you can relate to anything he said, drop it in the chat, and I'll make sure I read it out loud. But thank you for coming up, Stephen. I'm gonna work with your story based on what we got
yes,
going
ma'am.
on today. All right, thank you,
Okay,
everybody.
all
That's
right,
even.
thank you, ma'am.
No problem. That's even Steven, y'all. And he came up, he said, listen, this is going to be a really good topic for me because I think I know the reason why I have not been promoted at work. And not only that, Steven said, I don't give a damn. I don't care. Steven said, the pension is good. The money is good. I'm good to go where I'm at. And that's good enough for me. He said, I refuse to play the game. I don't want to play the game. I don't want to be a part of your groups and I'm not going to do it. Nanny of the Maroon says promotion comes with more responsibility. Is not for everybody. It's not. It's not, but you can't complain. You get what I'm saying? So Steven say he's not going to play the game. And guess what? He's absolutely right. Everything he refuses to do is the number one reason that most people are not promoted. Let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to play a few clips and we're going to go over them together. All right. All right. All right. Here we go. That's what we do. Y'all ready? Y'all already on it. I see y'all. I'm not going to play with y'all this morning. In that chat, American born and everybody. Here we go. Jenny Clark. Let's see what she has to say about being promoted.
Important thing for people, and I get why.
Hold on.
I can't.
Let me start all over. Sorry about that.
Promotion is such a important thing for people, and I get why. I can't tell you if it's about competence. It should be, right? If you're moving from one level to the next, there should be very specific competencies associated with that new role that you have demonstrated that allow you to be considered for it. That's how that generally works. But the reality is that it can be, dare I say, a popularity contest. Do people like you? Do they think that you could be an asset, or are you the friend of someone else on a team? So it's hard to say because the game is rigged very often. I hate to sound cynical, but it simply isn't always about one's competence. Also, don't forget, I always make this distinction. To the extent that this role is a leadership or managerial role, they should be looking too at not just your domain expertise or functional expertise, but your leadership capabilities and competencies. Those can be quite different. So just because you know the work really well doesn't mean that you're going to manage and lead a team well doing that work.
She's absolutely 1,000% correct. This is Jenny Clark. And she says, most people think promotions are all about competence. Think again. You're absolutely wrong. The game. Did you hear her say the game? She didn't say corporate America. She said the game is rigged. Chew on that for a second. The game is rigged. Some people don't like it. When Queen Sheba has the audacity to get on here every Wednesday and say, play the game. If you're going to stay, what do we say? Then you better what? Play. Let me type it in. Stay is equivalent, hold on, to play. If you're going to stay, you better play. There's only two choices. If you stay, you play. Even if you play the quiet game. That's right. If you're going to stay, you better play. And Jam is saying that the game is beyond rigged. But the fact that she referred to corporate America as the game and telling you that the game is rigged, the score has already been determined. The MVP has already been determined. And here's what nobody tells you, according to Jenny Clark. Climbing a ladder is not just about mastering your role. Some of you have been in your roles, even Stephen, 17 years. Some of you have been in your roles 5 years, 3 years, 28 years, 30 years. It's not just about that anymore. Many people get passed over, white, black, yellow, brown, man, woman, because they focused on the functional or the technical skills while ignoring, she says, the leadership capabilities, but not everybody wants to be in a leadership role. I'm going to say the interpersonal skills, the interpersonal components that can make you a likable person. Have you ever worked with a smart person that you could not stand, that was weird, had just this cynical ass personality, and you like, I don't care how smart you are, how competent you are. Nobody likes you. Nobody likes you. People do business with people that they like. People buy from people that they like. People support people that they like. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It may not be fair, but that's just the way the game goes. Not only in corporate America, but it happens. It happens in real life. You'll see makeup artists that can't really do makeup well. People go to them all the time because they have a good time sitting in their chair. People go to hairstylers, barbers. You'll see other people get on the internet and complain. Their stuff ain't even better than mine. Stay in your lane. It may not be, but that's not the reason they're going. They're going because these people are likable. There's some type of personality trait, some type of capability and or quality that one possessed that have gotten them liked. Jenny just told you. I'll play it again. Here we go.
Promotion is such a important thing for people, and I get why. I can't tell you if it's about competence. It should.
Speaking of promotion, I see a lot of times on social media, people say, oh, if the friends and family won't even promote your business, maybe they don't like you. Have you ever thought about that? People do business and things for people they like. Let me say it again. You got family and friends that won't even, quote, promote this or promote that. Promotion is free. Maybe they don't like you. People do business. People support who they like.
Should be, right? If you're moving from one level to the next, there should be very specific competencies associated with that new role that you have demonstrated that allow you to be considered for it. That's how that generally works. But the reality is that it can be, dare I say, a popularity contest to people.
Yeah, it can be. Sometimes you see nepotism. Sometimes you be like, now I know damn well this person is not qualified to have this job nor this promotion. Well, surprise, surprise, the game is rigged. It can be a popularity contest. It could be about who you know and not what you know. Your competence, your intellect will not win every battle.
People like you. Do they think that you could be an asset, or are you the friend of someone else on a team? So it's hard to say because the game is rigged.
The game is rigged. And everybody needs somebody sometime and somewhere. I don't give a damn how you feel, what you've accepted. If you stay, you better play. You may not feel like, some of you may say, well, Queen Sheba, I'm just not in the business of kissing ass. And that's fine, but you better make sure you have somebody that can go to bat for you. and be a voice and or an advocate for you when you're not in the room, or when you're not at the table, or when your name is brought up in some type of disagreement, tension, turmoil, somebody that can speak to your character, your work ethics, your track record, your history, any of that. So you may not want to play that side of the game, but at some point, you're going to get tagged in. And if you've completely alienated the thought of, if you're going to stay, you better play, don't be surprised if your name doesn't get called. Don't be surprised if you find yourself seated in the same seat, seated in the same desk for year after year after year, and nobody ever thinks of promoting you. Nobody ever thinks of giving you an extra dollar here or there. And you always find yourself in a position where you have to fight, kick, and scream to get what you feel you deserve. Let me pause. Let me pause. Simon says, unfortunately, a lot is still racially motivated. And I'm sorry to say that involves racism from our own people. Additionally, in a lot of cases, this matters and has a lot to do with insecure managers. It does, but there's a workaround. Simon says, welcome to the palace. Welcome to Wednesday morning corporate segment. There is a workaround with that. I do it. I've done it all the time. I've been fast tracked. If you understand what fast tracking is, I've been fast tracked in most positions I've had. That's where I've been elevated really quickly, whether I deserved it or not, because I was likable. I do an excellent job of communicating. I manage my relationships well, whether you like me or not. I can get the job done without being distracted. I tuck in my emotions and my feelings. And I'm not saying that's the only way to do it, but I've recognized that the game is rigged. And I'm not always a team favorite, but at the end of the day, you got to know how to show up. If you choose to stay, Simon says, you better play. You know, that's all I'm saying. If you choose to stay, you got to play. Otherwise, you need to leave and find a place that's more suitable for you. Here's the problem. Most of us are not confident enough or competent enough to be able to go somewhere else, if we really want to talk about it, and measure up against the competition that's vying for the same role. So we sit in these positions year after year after year and we complain. But if the truth be told, the corporate world has rapidly changed. They put you through 4, 5, 6 rounds of interviews, and you got to earn it. And sometimes when you don't keep your skill set brushed and polished up, you're not as sharp and nimble as you think you are. That's all. And I'm not talking to anybody in this chat. I think that's why sometimes most people become comfortable and they say, well, shit, it's comfortable. I got a desk in the corner. I got pictures of my dogs, my kids, my stuffed animals here. I ain't going nowhere. The money is good. And I'm not saying that you should want to go somewhere if you found what you like and what you love. But if you find yourself complaining about the culture year after year after year, and you've done nothing about it, ask yourself, why do I stay in a place where I have no desire to grow? I have nothing positive to say about it, and I'm not interested in leaning in for myself.
Very often, I hate to sound cynical, but it simply isn't always about one's competence. Also, don't forget, I always make this distinction. To the extent that this role is a leadership or managerial role, they should be looking too at not just your domain expertise or functional expertise, but your leadership capabilities and competencies. Those can be quite different. So just because you know the work really well doesn't mean that you're going to manage and lead a team well doing.
Oh, that's a powerful point. Just because, and we see it every day. You see peers, your coworkers, your peer groups that are promoted. They do a great job in their day-to-day role, and they are horrible team leaders. They're horrible managers. And just because you know your role very well doesn't mean you'll be able to manage a team of people and lead a team of people great, in a great way. And it's also is knowing your blind spots. Let's talk about it. How many of you would, and let's be real, so many people accept promotions that they shouldn't be accepting when you are promoted? Did you know you can say no? I'm not ready. I feel like I need to polish up a little bit. Kira Toussaint says, Yes, Queen. Every promotion I've got, I've had to leave. My loyalty is to my pocket. Thank you. Dorothy says, put me in the game, coach. That's another thing. You can turn down a promotion. I know we're talking about the reasons why you may not or you haven't been promoted at work, but there are some promotions you do need to turn down because it's a setup for the okey doke. Sometimes, and I don't know if you're aware of this, there is a such thing as reverse psychology where we're going to give you the promotion just to watch you fail so that we can fire you and deem you incompetent. Oh, yeah, it happens. It happens. Give me 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds. I'll walk you through it. And this takes me back to Simon Says. Simon Says put a comment up here about racial bias that exists. It does. We would be a fool to say that it doesn't. There are racial biases that do exist in corporate America. And Simon Says this, unfortunately, a lot still is racially motivated, including some promotions. Including some promotions. Oh, yeah. I don't know if y'all have heard of that. Including some promotions. There are some corporations and organizations where they are so sophisticated, they understand the game, they know it's rigged. And what we're going to do is we're going to promote A, B, C, D. We're going to let them go for about 14, 12 to 18 months. And then we're going to, what is the word? I said it the other day. We're going to eliminate their positions. We're going to downsize and or right size. It's a clean sweep. We did the right thing. We promoted the minority. We gave them an opportunity. Guess what? We're right sizing the company. Things are over budget. And unfortunately, this role is no longer available. It happens all the time. Okay, Mile High Diva says Queen Sheba is called the glass cliff. It's a setup to fail. Yes, but yes. And I'm giving real examples. Now, this is not to get you on the edge of your seat and make you paranoid, but this is so that you can go back, take your finger, and trace the timeline in your organization where you could actually say, oh my God, I do remember all of a sudden women and blacks and people of color were being promoted. And then like a year later, all of a sudden we had an announcement that the company was downsizing or shifting or pivoting to go in a different direction. And all of those leadership roles were what? Eliminated. Eliminated. It happens all the time. So it could happen in reverse or it could happen with a downright flat out no. Reasons why you may not be promoted at work. Okay. And it's not based on your job performance. Being good at your job does not mean that you are going to receive a promotion. There's a whole different game that comes with being promoted. Number one is being likable. If they're not out to downsize, being likable, being acceptable, being approachable, and are you a good fit on the other side of that coin? Let me go through some of these comments, and then I'm going to give you a different point of view from Mel Robbins. Kat says, middle management has always been laid off in every company I've worked for, so I don't take that role ever. Well, and also in some of them, depending on where you work, when you start to get into those billion-dollar corporations, they have the money to play with. You know what I mean? It's like being at a roulette table. They got a little extra in the budget that they could hire a few women that they do not intend on keeping, a few minorities, a few vets that they have no intention on keeping past the 24 month mark. All to say we tried to do the right thing. Tish R says, yep, it happened to a coworker. She complained about her manager. They made her a manager. Now she's gone. It's reverse psychology. And that's why I'm giving you these strategies on Wednesday morning to say, wait a minute. All of a sudden, I'm being like All of this is just too good to be true. If it don't feel right, you can decline. Now, just know that if you decline the promotion, the clock is ticking, because there's almost little to no room in corporate America to say no. Okay? So you have to weigh. You have to weigh the two. So so Queen Sheba, you're saying there are reasons that I may not have been promoted. Yes. If you're a stellar employee, you don't have any bad record. You seem, you do a fairly decent job, and you know for sure you're not a target and you haven't been promoted. You may not be deemed likable. You may not be in the right crowd. You may not have those interpersonal skills that they are looking for within the confines of that culture, that organization. So it's not just based on your competency, your skills, your technical skills, your execution strategy, or any of that, right? It's like, who likes you? Who's inviting you to happy hour? Whose kids do you know? Whose birthday parties are you invited to? Are you kidding me, Queen Sheba? Yeah. And then on the other side of that, if you know they're coming to get you, if you know you're a target, them people don't F with you like that, and you get a promotion or get offered one, yeah, the reverse psychology of it all. You may want to turn it down. Chef Chic Jean Marie says most people would not turn down a promotion due to pride. What would they think of me? Well, they don't have the right support system in place. And yeah, you're right. Most people would not turn down a promotion. I'm gonna say about 85% of the people would not turn down a promotion. But that's one of the best things you can do if you feel like you're not ready. Not only do people not turn down a promotion because they are afraid of what would people think of them, because nobody wants to admit they're not ready sometimes. Nobody wants to start all over and learn. Nobody wants to have people not like them, but it's okay to turn down a promotion if you know you're not ready. Queen in Forever says, my likability factor along with God's favor is an awesome combination. I also have the ability to master my position and move effectively in the corporate world. Promotion and increase will follow. That's a good one. That's a good one. Let's go to the next clip. Give me 1 second. I think I have it. I think this is it, but that's one. There was one with a man that I wanted to show y'all. Is this it? Hold on. Okay. No, not that one. Let's just go to this one. This one is a little bit more technical.
What is the single biggest factor that determines whether or not somebody actually gets promoted or paid more at work?
It's so funny. When we think about people who get promoted, we think of these powerful people who are sort of like masters of the universe, or maybe tycoons or whatever. In practice, the people who thrive at work, who do well, who perform well, are good at conversation. They're doing a good job talking to their coworkers. They're doing a good job talking to their investors, to their clients, to their...
Y'all hear it? Socialization. Being able to schmooze, rub elbows. And a lot of you said, I ain't doing that. Well, surprise, surprise. That may be one of the reasons why you have not been promoted at work. That may be one of the reasons you have not been promoted at work. And not everybody is a good conversationalist. But guess what? Emails, Skypes, Teams work just as effectively. Let's continue.
Their customers, to their boss. They're people that everyone likes working with because...
And y'all call it kissing ass. But good old communication is here to stay every day. In the world we live in, most people may not have received a promotion because you don't know how to communicate. Or, we live in a world where you say less. Just text me, don't call me. You ignore phone calls. You don't want to be bothered, and you have the audacity to show up in corporate America. If you're going to stay, you better what? You better play. And you have the audacity to stay up on that job and expect to be able to do what you want to do on them people's clock and on their time, like you're at home. I don't answer the phone for my friends. I don't feel like responding. Well, if you're going to stay, you better play. Communication is key. Communication is key.
because they're enjoyable to be around and they're bringing value.
Not only are they good at their jobs, what did I say? People like them, enjoyable. When people think of you, are you palatable? And that could be a primary reason why you have not been promoted at work. You're not enjoyable to be around. I'm not saying it's true, y'all, because you have your corporate politics. You have people that will gang up against you. You have people, listen, in most organizations, please know that people work in packs. Do they like you? Do they enjoy being around you? And if the answer is no, there's a huge, huge possibility you may not be promoted. Queen Sheba, can I change that? Probably not. Probably not, unless you go to depending on how large the organization is, right? But probably not in most cases. Now, if you're working for a really large, huge organization with over, I'm going to say 10,000 employees, yeah, you could probably jump ship and go to a different team and start from scratch and kind of hit the reset button. But if you're working for a smaller corporation, probably not. So you mean to tell me once I got a target on my back, whether it's true or not, it's going to stay there? Savannah 912 said, there are clicks for sure. Absolutely. Queen and Forever says, facts. A top tier personality goes a long way. Yes, in conjunction with being a high performer. Oh, you struck a gold mine. But yeah, I know y'all. Is this tough for y'all to hear? That once you have a target, listen, I've been a target before. I knew, damn, I gotta go now. Shit. I mean, it happens to the best of us. But does this make you uncomfortable hearing that once you are deemed, you may be good at it? Now, I will tell you this. Let's just say you do not possess some of the qualities that you feel like, I'm not doing all of that as long as I do my job. Can being a high performer keep you in your warm seat? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's hard to fire a high performer. It's hard to get rid of a high performer just because you want to. And I know a lot of states have at-will employment, but it's really hard to get rid of a high performer. So we're talking about promotion, though. Any questions? Kira Tucson says, Queen, yes, it's tough to hear, but it needs to be said. They won't tell us the real, so I'm glad you are. Once you have a target on your back and the whispers are being whispered through the walls of corporate America, it's going to be hard to change people's minds unless those people leave or unless you leave. Now, are you saying I need to leave my entire corporation? Not necessarily, but if it's large enough, you do need to go to a different team to start from scratch, depending on the impact of what's being said about you, depending on how much it's impacting you, people's ability to collaborate with you. Because sometimes people will sabotage your efforts so that you don't receive a promotion, so that you're not productive. There are things that are beyond your control, but I'm telling you how to work around. Simon says, remember, these are the workarounds. Now, here's the number one mistake you make. Many of you announce your next move. Everybody has a friend that they trust to say, hey, don't say something. But guess what? Kiara is going to apply for that role that Toot Latrice is advertising. Don't say nothing. I think she deserves it. She told me, but don't you say nothing. Okay. Then Queen Sheba goes to Queen and Forever and say, girl, Kiara's sick at this. She's going to apply for that role that Toot Latrice has open on her team. Okay. Don't say nothing. Kiara said, I'm not going to say nothing. Then she's going to go to Roz. And then Roz is going to go to Kat. And before you know, everybody knows you're not happy. Say less. That's how a lot of you get caught up. You announce your move or you trust somebody. And I'm not saying people are bad or all bad in corporate America, but guess what? People can only talk about what they know. And if you don't tell it, they don't know it. Welcome, Kat. Wednesday corporate morning segment. What are your thoughts?
Good morning, Queen. Good morning, chat. I wasn't even going to call in, but this is so funny because I always say that if I have a skill, it's my ability to BS at work. And it has gotten me promoted a lot, meaning you just got to be fake in a way. You can't, do you know what I mean? You can't be yourself. And I was telling my husband this morning because he was asking me some work question. And I said, babe, instead of telling your manager your problem because he can't even do anything about it, try to be his right hand man. Try to be his best friend. Ask him how he's doing. And I've always turned that around on management when I've had like a performance review, like, but how are you doing with the new rule? Are you okay? You must be getting a lot of complaints. Do you know what I mean? Like, try to be your manager's friend, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
I agree with some of it. I know where you're going with this. And now I'm gonna say she's not wrong. She's not wrong and I'm not right. It depends on personality type, right? I know exactly what you're saying. And some of it does work. Now, I wouldn't lean in and try to be their friend, but I would lean in and try to help them save time. Let's go, Kat. You follow me, follow me. You know how you
No, it's
said,
true.
yes, save time. And what I mean by that is exactly what Kat said, but in a different way. When you get in front of directors, senior directors, VPs, there is you just have to button up a little bit different. And I think that's what she's saying. Sometimes you have to be fake, but I'm not going to use the word fake. I'm going to say appear developed.
You're right. Yeah.
Developed. Okay.
I'm
We're gonna do a little bit of small talk. Of okay, developed is advanced or elaborated to a specific degree. So hey, hey, how's it going? And I like what she said because ask him how he's doing. Because with most managers, most people in leadership roles, everybody wants them to solve their problems. So she's saying be a bright light for him as
It's
opposed.
always worked for me. It's always just trying to be their go-to employee. And I'm not going to lie, your other friends are going to hate you. Like they're going to start to not like you. They're going to start to look at you as a kiss ass because you're that person that the boss is always calling into the office, asking to do extra projects, staying late. And you might not necessarily get paid for that, but you're going to get promoted. You're going to be that person that's going to get promoted because you did stay late and you didn't get the overtime necessarily.
And you use the word friend. I won't be a friend or a kiss ass, but I will be a do girl if you need me. So that's
Hmm.
how I lean in. And a do girl is this. And I like what Kat is saying. Because my personality can be a little stoic. It can be, you know what I mean? Because I understand the implications of, like you said, completely trying to be yourself in corporate America. So if you're not comfortable leaning too much on the friendly side, you can lean on the helpful side. A do girl. Hey, listen, I have a little bit more time. If you need me to take something on the behalf of the team. I was able to prioritize a few things. I finished quicker than I thought I would. Is there anything I can take off your plate? Boom.
Right.
Boom. But
And
Kat, anything go ahead, Kat.
I just wanted to also say this. When I was listening to you talking and I was listening to this conversation, I thought about this thing that I heard once where there's this theory that if you get promoted too many times, there's this theory. So I Googled it and it's actually called the Peter Principle. And to make it a very long explanation short, it basically means that we keep getting promoted to the point where we get into the final role and we're not qualified. And then that's when burnout happens and ultimately job dissatisfaction. And that did happen to me. That's the thing. I'm the do girl. Well, like I was the do girl. Whatever you need, always smiling, always, So I've been promoted to jobs that I thought to myself, damn, I miss being an account manager. It was, the pay wasn't as much as it is now. But when you're a director, it's like, oh, your life is your job. So you really have to think about it. What do you want to do? Do you want to be home at 6 o'clock? Because you're not going to be able to.
Oh my God. Have I been on mute this entire time? Y'all, have I been on mute this entire time? Lord have mercy. Ah, I didn't realize I was on mute. Man, I cannot repeat every. Can y'all hear me? Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. I've been up here just talking with Kat. Oh, Lordy. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to repeat all that. Okay, to the lady, and I also said, there you go. You came back. I was finna say to the lady that dropped down, come on back. Welcome, Ann. Man.
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Hey, Queen and chat. Hey, so I just have to say, um, working in the corporate environment over 30 years, currently in HR, having worked several positions, everything you're saying this morning is truth. The likability factor is huge. And I just like to add a couple of things for people to think about. So when you're pursuing that promotion, and let's say you don't get it, the way you respond to that is just as important as the effort you put in to pursue the position, because they watch for that. And then something else I think is very important, especially in the corporate world, is that you find a sponsor. So that sponsor is someone that's well respected. Everyone likes that individual. That is a person like a super mentor, right? That's going to be in those rooms, and they will speak for you. They will show another side of you to those individuals that don't know you well, and that also goes a long way. So just some nuggets to think about.
I agree, Ann. Jam says, I'm just going to listen because I don't agree today. That's okay. Life is not about agreeing. And that's what we're talking about, playing the game, being able to
Yeah.
sit in a room where you're hearing things and can receive things and not agree, but taking what you need and discarding the rest.
That
You
is
get
so
what I'm
true.
saying? Go
Yeah, and
ahead,
the
Ann.
lady that was saying something about you have to be fake, I know where she was going with that. But think of it this way. Instead of looking at things from the outside, try to find similarities with people that are not like you. We have a tendency to shy away from that. Oh, I don't want to be in this conversation. Oh, they don't know me well, or they're boring. We don't think the same. We don't like the same things. Find similarities in people so that you can continue to be yourself and they can see your true, authentic, genuine self. That goes a long way too.
And let me break that down. When she's saying find the commonalities and not the differentiators can find before you know your facial expression. Start leaning into when we say pick up what works for you, discard the rest. So as opposed to saying, I don't, I'm not, I disagree with what y'all are saying. Have you found anything in today's conversation that hit home? Marinate on that. Manifest on that, meditate on that, because we're trying to give you strategies that'll put you in a position to excel, elevate, and collaborate and appear to be more of a team player so that you're not subconsciously alienating yourself by your subconscious thinking. Am I going too deep?
That's on target.
What field are you in, Ann?
Currently, I'm in HR.
Okay. Y'all, that's it. She just gave you the plug on how to play the game. And I'm glad that, and listen, Jam, that's not a bad thing. What you did was gave us a perfect example. And then when you're feeling that way, when you find yourself in those meetings, on those Zooms, you be like, I don't like her. I don't agree with. Stop. Reset, reframe. You may not agree, but there has to be something of value that you can take away, something you didn't know, something you can use. But if you're so focused on not agreeing, if you're so focused on like the guy that called in, I'm not playing the game, I'm not going this, what are you willing to do? Because you're still there. You still need a job. You still need to pay your bills. If we're talking about promotion, what can you take away from today's conversation that can get you headed in a different direction? Ladies, feel free to chime in at your convenience.
Hey, Queen, it's Kat. I'm back. So yes, when I say fake, it just means I guess I shouldn't have put it so bluntly. I'm just very blunt. And my personality is like that. I'm blunt, I curse a lot. And that's what I meant. When I go to work, I just enter the building, I have a smile on my face. I speak to every person in every department. I don't care if you're the cleaning person, even them I speak to. Like, that's another thing. Don't just network in your own department, network in every single department because people are friends. And when they're looking to promote, that guy downstairs is going to tell your boss, "Oh, she's your employee, right? She's so nice." You never know. And I always look at work as this job interview that I'm always on.
Oh, okay. See now, part of it I agree, but I'm kind. I know how to be kind, but I'm not going to speak to everybody.
Okay,
Cat.
see, I
Let me
do.
let me t- I don't. Let me tell you why. But I don't walk through the hallways or when I may say good morning, everyone.
Mm,
Because at one point when it's time, because everybody in corporate America, okay, that's not well received a lot. Because I need at some point you need to know them. At some point, if you are an alpha, you need them to recognize that. So the reason why I don't, because I have to establish, and it's important that I am an alpha when I need to be, and I'm not just a kiss ass.
mm,
So I'm going to say hey, good morning, everybody on the call. I'm not going to go down the line. Good morning, Kat. Good morning, Ann. Good morning, to no, ma'am. I got
mm.
time. I don't have that kind of time. I'm a leader. I'm also a follower because I said a good leader is also a good follower, but I'm not the fluff can be too much fluff sometimes.
Yeah, no, and I'm in sales, and that's I think what
Oh, gotcha.
that's what I think the difference is. There's always like behavior analysis and psychological things that we're being taught. But the reason why I really called in is I just wanted to say, like, be careful what you get promoted to,
Gotcha.
because it definitely happened to me. And I Googled what it was because I know I heard it one time, but yeah, it's this theory that if you get promoted too many times, you're going to end up in a role that you're not qualified for. And even if you are, what I've experienced is I've been promoted in 8 years, 6 times. So you're going to get to the point where it's like, oh shit, I'm in a role now where I have to manage people and I hate it, or whatever it is. I have
Gotcha.
to write all these reports and I missed being in the field. So just think about it.
Yeah,
It's not always the best to get promoted.
I agree, especially if that's not what you truly want. And I should
Hmm.
have asked Anne before she left, what's the proper way, in her professional HR opinion, to decline an offer for promotion? And if you could put that in the chat,
Yeah,
if you're
that's a
still
good
here.
point.
Yep. I wanted to read something. Sales is different. I mean, when you're a product developer, you have a sales team. They go out and sell the product. You have a for the product that I manage, you have a clinical team, you have a engineering team, you have an IT team. I know what sales is, but they all have possess different personalities. Not all of them lean in that way. So it depends on their clients, their book of business, their vendors. They work with a lot of different people. I work with both men and women. Uh,
Hmm.
what do you sell?
I work for I don't want to say
Don't
it's
say who you
let's
work for. Just say what you
right.
sell, if you can.
Let's say it's lab sales. It's lab sales. So it's
La-
similar to pharmaceutical sales, but
Gotcha.
more technical in the sense that I have a medical background and it's required for the job.
Equipment? Are you selling medical equipment? Are you selling pharmaceuticals? Or are you just selling
Labs,
plants,
the blood work. So the
lab,
yeah, the
the
lab.
facilities? Are
Yep.
you trying to are you like a let me ask you this. Are you building a pipeline of business for people?
Yes.
Okay, okay, got it. Got it. Got it. I know what you're doing.
And
Almost like
that's
yeah.
exactly, I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm 39. I was this go getter when I was younger. I wanted to be in the role that I am now. But then I realized I miss managing accounts. Now I'm the person that has to go get the business. Like I'm the one that has to go win business for the company.
Yeah.
And the thrill is gone. Like, that's all I'll say. Like,
So you're quoting plans, like when they're going out to bid, when the corporations are going out to bid, you're there hoping that they will do business with your carrier or your facility.
Exactly.
I know. I
Exactly.
got you. I got you. I follow. I'm tracking. Awesome job. So you are patient. You do have to deal with a lot, and that's great information that she gave us. She said not every promotion is a good promotion, considering there are many reasons why you may not have been promoted.
Hmm.
All right. Thank you, Kat.
Thanks, Queen. Bye, chat.
Um, that was Kat, everybody. Awesome, awesome advice. And that's a different perspective, very much needed from a sales side, because sales is different. Simon says, I appreciate the point of view presented. However, I still believe you can be competent and still cast out. Yes. Yes. Absolutely, you can be cast out and competent, right? We said that early. I'm not sure what portion you came in, but you're absolutely correct. You can be cast out, you can be competent, you can be likable. It's subjective, right? But my thing is, if you're going to stay, you better play. You still show up, or you need to get out as quickly as possible before it gets too bad, because it can get bad in corporate America. And that's the part we don't talk about. Let me continue with this. Give me 1 second.
They're working hard and bringing value to the people around them.
That makes sense, because I remember seeing somewhere this research about the single biggest factor that determines whether or not a woman in particular gets promoted or somebody that is a minority gets promoted. And
Let's pause now, Mel. This may be above your pay grade. Unfortunately, and Anne, I don't know if you're on a call or whatever, but the game is definitely rigged when it comes to women versus minorities. If you know, you know. Now, I know a lot of corporations are doing away and deconstructing their DEI programs, but white women were actually considered a minority. So they hit two metrics, two qualifiers as it relates to DEI initiatives. Number one, they are put in a bucket as a woman, and they're also placed in the bucket of minorities. So a white woman could actually be promoted or be hired to satisfy the minority quota. I don't want to go too deep today. That is not my intention. I didn't, but since they brought it up. So now you have these women of color, these vets, these Asians, all of these other people, LGBTQ plus, that are thinking, okay, this is us as a minority, but you're still having to beat out a white woman who's also considered a minority and a woman. Let's go.
and it's whether or not their contributions are known. And if you really stop and think, if you're somebody who is quiet and you're hoping people know what you're doing, and you're not a good communicator because it's not a skill that you've practiced,
and it goes back to communication. Remember, talking, being able to articulate what you do best, shine. Some of you say, well, I'm a person of little words. That's fine, but you can still shine in an email. You can still shine in a Skype. You can still kind of plug in your achievements every now and then, here or there. Here we go.
because your nerves get the best of you, then you're leaving it to hope and chance that you're going to get recognized.
Yeah.
Because your contributions being known is largely determined by whether or not you can communicate effectively.
Yeah. Sometimes your contributions are observable without talking. Sometimes other people will notice and will say something and sort of promote about you, talk good about you, something that they've observed. But very often, if you think about a high performer at work and you track back, well, how did they become known as a high performer? You track the chain of information back. And very often it comes back to a point where it's like, well, actually, he told me himself that he just won this award, or that he just figured out this new problem, or he figured out this new thing. So very often it comes back around to this idea of like, if something great is happening and no one's noticing, it's up to you to share it with someone.
All right, that's what we have for today. I want to go through a few comments and just kind of see what you all are saying. Always Coolin says, great tips, but sometimes they will try to use you up with no reward. Yes, however, how are you socializing yourself? How are you socializing yourself outside of your direct supervisor, VP, senior director, team lead. There's other people, y'all. There are workarounds. There are, if you really listen, if you really are looking for a way to elevate, I'm giving you gems in this conversation. But if you have a fixed mindset about it and you've made up your mind there is no way, and that your corporation is your enemy, then there is no way. And they will try to use you up with no reward. But if you can go back to some of the previous segments we've done, I've given you strategies how to walk in there and ask for what you need by way of pay, increase, bonuses, more responsibilities, and also directly challenging in the most beautiful way. How come my pay is at this? But you've got to be a consistent performer. Now, yeah, you can get used up, but there's a workaround. Hold on. I saw a comment that I really wanted to. I don't know if that's it. Roz Thompson said, I knew I was doing something right the first time my company sent me to China with others to represent them. There was a comment here where somebody said, or I thought I saw one, regarding being a high performer and still getting jilted. Or, man, I wish I would have saved the comment. Hold on. Maybe this was it, what Simon says. And I know I read it. It says, I appreciate the point of view. However, I still believe you can be competent and still cast out. Not from everybody. Now, they are your manager. They're not God. Not from everybody. If you are really working in full capacity, because if you say, you better play. If you are really working and performing in full capacity with your cross-functional partners, your matrix partners, that means your other coworkers in different business units that may not have the same manager, but y'all have to work together. You have to go to their meetings. And if you're performing and getting along well with them, your manager ain't that powerful, because they still have to get performance feedback from your partners. So if you're doing a good job in those areas, that can help. That you can benefit from that. Okay. So the Anna 912 say, I got to counteract that likable trait is genuine. You either rock with the team or you don't. Fake and disingenuous will eventually be discovered. Sooner or later, your slip will show. Positively, DD says, be aware of self-development. Oh, can you elaborate, DD? I don't want to assume I understand, but it sounds interesting. I like to hear more. Sounds very interesting. Mary C, I'm glad. I hope it's helpful. You says taking notes. Thank you. And it could be, there's some complexities to it, because you have to take into account, you have various personalities, different leadership styles. But if you are really sitting back, talking less, listening more, leaning in, try not to get stuck in the negative in your head, you can learn a lot. You'll know exactly, I can't stay here too long under this leadership. Let me go ahead and lean in all the way. Always do a good job. If you're going to stay, you better play. And then I'm out of here, and I ain't telling nobody. Thank you, One Crafty Sister. Yes, you have, Queen, given us valuable information. Let's see. Okay, Sandra says they'll go behind your manager's back for you, but limit your time on that team and post out. Yeah. Yep. Positively, DD. Absolutely. That's a great one. Ensure you're learning and setting goals for yourself. And walking into your one-on-ones, leading the discussion. A lot of times when you go in your one-on-ones, hey, do you have anything? That's what they're going to ask you. No, I don't. You can go ahead. Okay. Sometimes you need to say, yeah, I do have a few items. Here's some things I'm working on. Here's some of my wins for the weeks. Here's what I have up next. And thirdly, what are your recommendations? Should I shift this? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? You can't always go in as the subordinate. Let me see what else we have. If not, I'm going to go ahead. Okay, Jam says, I always listen to the podcast a couple of times. However, I know where I am. They already promised positions to people, so I won't be played with. But you got to go. If you're in that state of mind, it's time for you to go, Jam. It's just going to get worse for you. You got to go. Unfortunately. You go, listen, let me tell y'all something. We have to, we get to choose how we show up. And if the price is not right, you got to go. The price to pay. I'm not just talking about the money. Is the price right? Is it worth it? How is it impacting me? Is my morale declining? Damn, I'm on Queen Sheba's podcast. This job got me in a chokehold. Even over here, it's oozing through my pores. You got to go. It's time to go. You need to freshen up that resume and get the hell up out of there. That's it. That's all. I agree. Thank you, Jam. Thank you for at least being honest. Jam, what industry are you in? Yeah, it's time to go. Freshen up that resume. We're in Q2. Let me see. January, February, March, April, May, June. Go ahead and get that resume ready. If you work on it, start applying for jobs by June. We'll be in Q3. They have their budget. They should have new organizations will have those budgets ready to go for Q3, Q4 hiring. You'll be right on time. Stephen said he's back. Stephen, we didn't talked about you, child. You're going to have to rewind the live. Good morning, Niestet Noir. She says, good morning. Checking in to say hi. I love these segments. We'll catch the replay. Jam, Sandra P said, Jam, that's physically risky to your health. Yeah, Jam. Yeah, Jam, you're going to have to... Positively DD says, I always leave my one-on-ones with my manager circling back to say thank you for that valuable information. Only say thank you if it worked. Only say thank, and then give them and then don't just say thank you. So now we're gonna scale up, right? Only say thank you if it worked, not to kiss ass, and then give them an example of how it worked in real time and why it worked. Therefore, okay, you're a logistics analyst for major food company. You're working on it. You got to prioritize that. Okay. That would be my recommendation. Good morning, Janice Walker. Okay, even Steven said I had a psychiatrist appointment at the VA. There you go. There you go. Take care of your mental health. Q Catrice says, please avoid the stay and quitting mentality. If you're not happy, leave and go where you're appreciated, or take some time off. A lot of times people of color, minorities, some of us, not all of us, cannot go because we're not financially prepared to call a timeout and say, this has become too much. Not only is it this job, I've just been in the workforce too long. I need a freaking break. You need a break. And if you manage your debt to income ratio, if you start to manage it well or better, you'll be able to take some time off should you need to. The Ested Noir says feedback is great when quantifiable. That's right. Show it. Show it how it works, DD. What was the person's name? Positively DD. Okay, I hope that helps, DD. Positively. Because a lot of times, one thing that when it comes to promotions, recruiting, hiring, one of the common complaints that they speak about minorities is we're not able to articulate what we do effectively and how we do it. So that's why I said positively DD. One thing that's going to scale up your engagement and your interactions with your manager is not just saying thank you for the positive feedback or thank you, right, for that valuable information. Why was it valuable? And if it wasn't, don't tell them thank you. See, I'd rather have a one thank you that helps you to hit a home run as opposed to 100 thank yous. And I'm still not seeing it in your work. And that's going to take you to a different level. That's going to improve the relationship with your manager. Okay. I hope that helps. You ready for retirement, Kat? Then you can go into retirement and come out. You know how many times I've seen people do that in sales? You can go into retirement and come out. Yep, budgets are usually boom. Was I right, the estate? Boom. Budgets are usually completed by July. Told you. I have a love-hate relationship with corporate America because I know how the game goes, but I know how they work. I'm telling you. And that's why I said, Jam, go ahead and get that resume right. Start applying for June. They know. Q3, those budgets they're ready to go. And they'll bring you in June, July, August, September. You should be they're gonna draw it out, right? You'll probably get in about September or October. 90-day, 3-month process. If you good. Now that's if you good. Real good. Even Steven said, this is why I started my business doing LLCs and trademarks. Business was booming during the pandemic. Satisfied clients beats what job puts on annual evaluations. Entrepreneurship helps me stay. Boom. Entrepreneurship helps me to stay cool at your job. I know exactly what you're saying, even Steven. And he's absolutely correct. Establish a hobby, a passion project, or something outside of corporate America where you're not hustling so hard for your worthiness and your recognition. Their recognition of you is not your primary source of food and fuel because you know you're doing it for yourself. Now, you want to improve your morale? Start doing something for yourself. Start doing something for yourself. Jam. It don't have to be your own business. Just start doing something that's purposeful, meaningful, working out, whatever it is. Now, Kat says, that's because you're a salesperson. You said, I truly believe you need to network with every department in your company. You don't have to try. It just happens. You can, but I think it needs to be genuine and authentic. Kat, I do. Otherwise, they're going to run when they see you coming. It has to make sense. How about that? It has to make sense. That's all I'm saying. Now, you don't want to just be out there, hey, good morning, and it don't make sense. And everybody's like, well, now what's going on with Kat? She done came by here 8 times saying good morning. Oh, I'm glad even Steven says my job is not featured on my LinkedIn profile. It is merely listed. My 9 to 5 does not define me at all. Listen to this. I'm glad you brought this up. When you leave corporations, lean in. Write this down. When you switch jobs, you don't have to listen to me, but this is a best practice. Don't you put that new job on that LinkedIn right away. You need to be locked in. You need to be for sure they like you, they love you, you're performing. You ain't got no target on your back. My recommendation is you don't put your new role on your LinkedIn for 6 to 9 months, period. 6 to 9. What? I want to announce. Don't you announce nothing until you know it's a done deal. People make phone calls all the time. Here's why I say that. Somebody can, because within the first 90 days, you can be let go for any reason at will. No, during the first 90 days, I'm sorry, you can be let go at will for any reason. After 90 days, they need to give some type of reason, right? Even though it's at will. Most people, best practice, you're going to give some type of, they're going to tell you why. Okay, well, why you say 6 months? Because you need to be on a job 6 months in order to draw unemployment. Duh. So, oh, damn, Queen Sheba. So you got the 90-day mark, the 3-month mark period that the new job can let you go just in case you don't know who knows who in what industry in case a phone call is made. So now you hit the 90-day mark. You good to go. I still need to be here 6 more months just in case you get cute with me and try to let me go. I can draw unemployment after 6 months. You need to have 6 to 9 months. Do not put that new job on your LinkedIn. When you switch jobs, do not put your new job on your LinkedIn for at least 6 to 9 months. But some of you are not that disciplined. because you like to peacock and let everybody know what you got going on. It's nobody's business. Focus. That's it. That's all. Focus. All right. That's all I got for y'all today. If we have any final questions, I'll hang out for like 40 more seconds. If not, thank you everybody for tuning in to Wednesday morning corporate segment. Why you may not. Reasons why you haven't been promoted at work. Yeah. And I know a lot of y'all can be very, very fixated in setting your ways about being likable. And I'm not doing it as fake. Now there's a fine line. You don't want to do too much now. You don't want to do too much. But you want to do enough. Ross says, I've never used LinkedIn. It's a great resource if you use it for what it needs to be used for. Yep. All right. I think that's it. Thank you, Inez. Y'all have a good day. Happy Wednesday, and I will see you later. I want to answer a question real quick. You're very welcome, Malhi Diva. I was supposed to go, but then I saw a question that came in at the last minute. Natalie says, so do you just stay on LinkedIn at your preview? They're not going to ask you. The job force is completely changed. They don't ask you that anymore. They're going to assume. You don't have to say a word. Now, listen, Natalie, the best practice that this is my rule, right? This is not I'm not going to say this is an industry standard. This is just something that I developed for myself, but they don't know. So they're just going to assume that you are there. They're not, it's just an assumption. They're not going to ask you, are you still there? They've already looked at your LinkedIn. They're going to assume that you are. So you don't even have to explain anything unless you bring it up. But why would you be looking for a new job? I don't know. Are you saying that, okay, Queen Sheba, I just got a new job. I'm 4 months in. Now I'm looking for another new job. So do you just say on LinkedIn that you're you just leave it alone. That's your LinkedIn. You ain't got to change nothing. Nobody's going to challenge you on that. That's what I'm saying. With your new role, nobody's going to challenge. I think that's what you're saying. Will your new manager, will new people, I mean, is it they're going to have a problem with? Not really. Not unless you bring it up. Because most people know on LinkedIn that you can tell when they look at your profile. Kat, why are you still talking about this fake stuff? They got you in your feelings behind this. Now we supposed to be getting off this damn live. Y'all leave Kat alone. Y'all got Kat in her feelings behind this fake stuff. Thank you, Ramanita. She says, Queen Sheba, this was an awesome segment today. Thank you so much. Mine has been expanded. Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Yeah, you don't have to. Leo says that LinkedIn question is on. Yeah, you don't even have to put your LinkedIn in. You deleted your LinkedIn? Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Reese. Reese say, I hope I'm saying your name right. I love your corporate segments. Kat, don't talk. Listen. Now, Kat, come on, Kat. Come on, Kat. Stay with me. All right, y'all. I'm finna go. Again, any other questions now? Don't be waiting till I log off to talk crap. Any other questions? I'm giving y'all 15 seconds. I got to go. All right. I know how y'all do. Then you come back after I log off. I do what I want to do. I quit. I can stay at my job. You can. Y'all are hilarious. Let me get off this damn live. Let me get off this live. All right. I think we're done. Let's try this again. Kat says she can't stop laughing. Y'all know how y'all do. Y'all thought I was gone with that 30-second timer. They thought I was gone too. And I came right back. Let's try this again.